Walk into any upscale restaurant, coffee shop, or social event, and you'll notice something interesting. Attractive women of all ages gravitating toward men who are clearly older than them. Not just wealthy older men or famous older men, but regular guys in their 40s, 50s and beyond who possess certain qualities that younger men simply haven't developed yet. Today, I'm breaking down the specific qualities that make older men irresistibly attractive to women. Qualities that have nothing to do with manipulation or games and everything to do with authentic masculine development that comes with age and experience. Let's explore what makes mature masculinity so magnetic. 1. Emotional stability that comes from experience. The first quality that makes older men incredibly attractive is genuine emotional stability. Not the performed confidence of youth, but the deep, unshakable calm that comes from having weathered life's storms and emerged stronger. Younger men often mistake emotional intensity for passion, drama for excitement, and volatility for authenticity. But older men have learned through experience that true strength lies in emotional regulation, consistent behavior, and the ability to remain centered regardless of external circumstances. I learned this lesson through a series of challenging experiences in my 30s. A failed business that taught me resilience, a difficult divorce that taught me about my own patterns and triggers, the death of my father that taught me about what really matters in life. Each of these experiences, while painful at the time, contributed to an emotional stability that I simply couldn't have possessed at 25. This stability shows up in countless ways that women find magnetic. When faced with conflict, older men don't immediately get defensive or aggressive. They listen, process, and respond thoughtfully rather than reacting emotionally. When dealing with stress, they don't panic or catastrophize. They draw on decades of experience solving problems and overcoming challenges. Women are drawn to this stability because it creates safety. In a world full of uncertainty and chaos, a man who remains calm and centered becomes a refuge. His emotional consistency allows her to relax her own hypervigilance and trust that he can handle whatever life throws at them. 2. Authentic self-knowledge and acceptance. The second quality that makes older men irresistible is deep self-knowledge combined with genuine self-acceptance. While younger men are often still figuring out who they are and trying to prove their worth, older men have done the internal work to understand their strengths, acknowledge their limitations, and become comfortable with both. This self-knowledge manifests as quiet confidence that doesn't need external validation. An older man knows what he's good at and what he's not good at. He knows what he wants and what he doesn't want. He knows his values and isn't easily swayed from them by social pressure or temporary desires. I experienced this shift dramatically in my late 30s when I finally stopped trying to be the person I thought I should be and started embracing who I actually was. Instead of apologizing for my introverted nature, I began appreciating the depth it brought to my relationships. Instead of trying to be more social and outgoing, I started valuing my preference for meaningful one-on-one conversations. This self-acceptance is incredibly attractive because it gives women permission to be authentic too. When you're comfortable with your own complexity and contradictions, others feel safe showing you theirs. When you're not constantly trying to prove yourself or manage your image, conversations become more genuine and connections become deeper. 3. Purposeful direction beyond romance. The third attractive quality of older men is having a clear sense of purpose and direction that extends far beyond romantic relationships. While younger men often make dating and finding a partner their primary focus, older men typically have established careers, developed expertise, and found meaning in pursuits that fulfill them regardless of their relationship status. This purposeful direction creates several attractive qualities simultaneously. First, It makes them more interesting to talk to because they have genuine passions and expertise to share. Second, it demonstrates ambition and follow-through. They've proven they can set goals and achieve them. Third, it shows they're complete individuals who want to share their lives, rather than incomplete people looking for someone to complete them. 4. Financial and emotional generosity. The fourth quality that makes older men attractive is genuine generosity. Not just financial generosity, though that can be part of it, but emotional generosity that comes from abundance rather than scarcity thinking. Many younger men operate from scarcity. They're careful about spending money, protective of their time, and strategic about their emotional investment because they feel like they have limited resources. Older men who have achieved some level of success often operate from abundance, which allows them to be genuinely generous without expecting immediate returns. This generosity shows up in countless ways. An older man might insist on paying for dinner not to show off his wealth, but because he genuinely enjoys treating someone he cares about. He might spend money on experiences, travel, concerts, nice restaurants, because he understands that shared experiences create lasting memories and deeper connections. But more importantly, he's emotionally generous. He gives his full attention during conversations. He remembers details about her life and follows up on them later. He offers support during difficult times without keeping score or expecting reciprocation. He shares his knowledge, connections, and resources freely because he knows that helping others ultimately enriches his own life. I learned about this type of generosity from my mentor, a successful businessman in his 50s who seemed to effortlessly attract interesting people into his life. He would introduce people to each other, share opportunities, offer advice, and generally make everyone around him feel valued and supported. His generosity wasn't strategic. It came from genuine abundance and the understanding that success is more meaningful when shared. 5. The wisdom to prioritize connection over conquest. The fifth and perhaps most attractive quality of older men is having learned to prioritize genuine connection over conquest or validation seeking. While younger men often approach dating as a game to win or a challenge to conquer, older men typically seek authentic partnership and meaningful relationships. This shift happens because older men have usually had enough experiences, both successful and unsuccessful, to understand what actually creates lasting satisfaction in relationships. They've learned that physical attraction without emotional connection feels empty, that winning someone's interest without genuine compatibility leads to unfulfilling relationships, and that collecting romantic victories doesn't provide the deep satisfaction that comes from building something meaningful with the right person. I experienced this evolution in my own approach to dating. In my 20s and early 30s, I was focused on impressing women, proving my desirability, and accumulating romantic experiences. But as I matured, I began prioritizing quality over quantity, depth over excitement, and compatibility over chemistry alone. This wisdom manifests in how older men approach relationships. They're more selective about who they pursue because they know their time is valuable. They're more direct about their intentions because they don't have time to waste on games or unclear situations. They're more focused on building genuine intimacy because they understand that surface-level connections don't provide lasting fulfillment. Women find this approach incredibly attractive because it signals that they're being valued for who they really are, rather than just being another conquest. They can sense when someone is genuinely interested in knowing them versus someone who's trying to win them as a trophy or validation for their own ego. If you're an older man who recognizes these qualities in yourself, understand their value and don't take them for granted. These characteristics represent years of development and experience that younger men simply haven't had the opportunity to acquire yet. Remember that true attractiveness at any age comes from authentic personal development rather than performance or strategy. The goal isn't to use these insights to manipulate attraction, but to understand what creates genuine appeal so you can continue developing these qualities in yourself. The most attractive men of any age are those who are genuinely working on becoming better versions of themselves, not for women, but for their own fulfillment and growth. When you focus on that kind of authentic development, attractiveness becomes a natural byproduct rather than a forced outcome. If this video helped you understand the connection between maturity and attractiveness, hit that subscribe button and share your thoughts in the comments. What qualities do you think make older men more attractive? How have you seen these dynamics play out in your own life? And remember, the goal isn't to rush through life to reach some magical age of attractiveness. It's to embrace the development process at whatever stage you're currently in and focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts the kind of relationships you truly want. Age brings wisdom, but only if you're paying attention. Make sure you're learning from your experiences and growing into the man you're meant to become. Fade out.